Welcome to the Matcha Program. This is our very first YouTube video ever of this nature. This is a matcha Q&A with questions directly from you. There are a lot of fellow entrepreneurs in this community that had incredible questions about how to start a matcha brand, what challenges should you anticipate or would you anticipate when starting a matcha brand, and things of that nature. Now, who better to answer those questions? None other than Marc himself. Marc is the co-founder of Jade Leaf Matcha. He's also my business partner and co-founder in our other ventures. And together, we were part of the founding team that built and scaled Jade Leaf Matcha into a multi-million-dollar business and successful acquisition in 2020. So if you're thinking about starting a matcha brand, take notes. Marc is one of the few entrepreneurs that can speak firsthand about the systems and decisions he put in place to build a brand that truly scaled. So Mr. Nom Noms asked, what are the biggest struggles I could prepare for going into the matcha business?
The biggest struggles going into a matcha business are largely the biggest struggles you have going into any business. A big piece of that is having an insight or some sort of unique perspective on what you're going to offer a customer. With any business, what is your product? How are you going to get that product in people's hands? How are you going to be able to price it in a way that people are compelled to pay for? That's really true in any business. You need to have those insights. So in the matcha world, what does that mean? Are you bringing a new presentation of matcha to the table? Are you able to source it in such a way that you're able to offer it at a better price point? Are you preparing matcha in a cafe in unique ways, and that's kind of your angle? Do you have an existing distribution channel, like a business that's already selling to a lot of stores, or a large e-commerce presence that you're able to put your new matcha product in front of a large audience? There's a number of ways you can have, an angle into what can become a successful matcha business. And that's the really key thing. It seems like one of the unique struggles to matcha right now is in the supply side of it. So if you don't have any sort of connection or relationship or existing know-how on how to find a supply relationship, that's going to be a particularly challenging thing in starting a matcha business. So, and certainly even exacerbated by this matcha shortage. The brokers previously or in the past few years may have been more easy to find and had more accessible pricing for a new matcha brand. They may not be taking clients right now. So that's going to be a particular struggle, finding your supply. But beyond that, again, it draws back to the normal pieces of what it means to start a business as the biggest challenge. But what do you think, Jules?
Well, I mean, I have a follow. So to give context to this person, it's a husband and wife duo. I believe it's going to be, they're envisioning it to be an e-commerce site. Okay. So knowing that's exactly how Jade Leaf started, it's a different time that Marc's mentioned, like Jade Leaf was founded in 2014. Starting a matcha brand today, very different landscape. So knowing that, what worked for Jade Leaf? I know we've spoken about this in a different format, but what was the biggest differentiator?
I can give context to what worked for us at Jade Leaf and what we did well. For us, back starting in 2014, it wasn't so much about having really good storytelling or a really beautiful Instagram. It was more about being where people were looking for matcha. And at that time, most folks that were starting to learn about matcha and seeking it out were either typing it into Google or even more often typing it into Amazon to see what was available. So we knew for our start is that, hey, we want to be that top result on Amazon, presented well, priced properly, and then backing it up with an actually good quality product so that when someone received it and they tasted it, it met their expectations. And so Jade Leaf was a very kind of search-driven business in the beginning. As more and more people were learning about matcha and searching for it, Jade Leaf was there. And that success on Amazon led us to placements starting in Walmart and then Target, the big box stores, which, there was definitely hesitation there around, hey, does this cheapen our brand to be in such a mass marketplace? And we said, no, these stores actually have a lot of respectable, high quality products. They reach a large audience. We want to bring matcha to the, to the population in a bigger way. We don't want to be a niche brand that's only serving certain selective people. We want everyone to enjoy matcha. So we said, let's be there. So again, we kind of ramped up this path of being where people were looking for matcha. Now, matcha has become much more widely known. People are enjoying it in large numbers. And as a result, of course, as the market matures, more and more people enter the market to meet those needs. And so there's lots and lots of matcha brands. So I don't think what worked for Jade Leaf is now like
the formula.
Like a pathway that even we could, or even I could repeat. You got to do something different to rise above the noise of what's out there and get people to pay attention. So again, it draws back to, well, what do you have uniquely to your advantage? Is it a large existing audience on social media or elsewhere? Is it relationships with stores that you're able to get your brand onto shelves where someone else couldn't? Those are going to be the things that a new matcha brand will have to do. So if it's to the question, an e-commerce matcha brand, there are many of those.
Yeah.
It'll be in this day and age about storytelling, about relationships with other people who have audiences, building those connections to get your product in front of people and get them to try it, which is a different challenge and one that I'm not super familiar with. We're going to be embarking on it with some of our new products. It'll be a challenge for us.
Yeah. It's a different landscape today.
It's a different landscape. It's fun and exciting, but a different kind of challenge than what Jade Leaf did on its path.
Yeah. Well, cheers to that.
Cheers.
Hopefully that was helpful, Jonathan. And to just piggyback off of what Marc was saying, knowing who you're selling to, your audience, is going to be the biggest differentiator. And I think for you or any person starting a matcha brand, because it is so saturated.
Yeah.
And, there's some that do really well targeting the lifestyle of matcha, like the aesthetic and the wellness side of it. There are some that go heavy into sourcing and they talk about transparency. And that's really great for someone who might be more of a discerning matcha drinker. I mean, there's so many different audiences that you can tap, but it's really important to know exactly who you're selling to. If you try to cast a wide net and reach all the matcha lovers, that's not a great path forward because it is so competitive. In terms of matcha drinkers today, it is a part of the culture amongst that group of people to taste different matcha brands. There are some that are going to be gung-ho Jade Leaf drinkers. There are going to be some because of the culture on social to taste, test, and review matcha brands that they're going to want to know the breadth of what's out there. And so you really have to stand out.
We've been increasingly drawing parallels between the maturing matcha market and the coffee market.
Yeah.
And I think that's encouraging to see that to this day, new coffee brands are launching every year that are doing quite well. Many are launching that don't end up working out, as with any business, any market. But in a market as mature as coffee and as saturated as coffee, there's still opportunity to do a good job, to reach a new audience in a new way and find success. So there will always be opportunity in the matcha market. The game is not finished. The winners aren't decided. There's ones that are currently doing well, and then they may fade away as new ones come in and are more new and exciting. That's the natural evolution of things. So be encouraged that there is always opportunity to bring something new to the table and do a good job with it.
And have the stomach for building a business.
The long road, yeah. Not always.
Because I'm sure, there have been nightmares that you've had to deal with. I'm sure there were many stressors.
Well, there always will be. Yeah.
And it never stops. Going into it, knowing that, to Marc's point, just understanding and there's so many great resources out there around how to start a business and, the mindset you need to have to start a business. But in the specific, very niche category of specialty matcha, there is so much possibility for you to do well. It's just really honing in on who you are as a brand, who you're marketing to, what sets you apart, what is your value proposition, and going from there. And you're going to make many mistakes, as we will in our own journey. We're going to have failures, but I think adapting to that and having a bias, something that you're incredible at, is having a bias towards action.
Yeah.
No matter what, it's like you have an idea, let's just do it and go. I think many people get tripped up on needing to have all of the answers or all the information And even in our journey in the last several months, like we haven't had all the answers and we've quickly iterated.
Still got to move forward.
And we're figuring it out as we go. So we're in the same boat as you. I hope this is helpful, but thank you for your question.